Good evening, everyone. Hello. Hi there. Um, I'm here today to talk to you about Torbjorn's rework, and with the new rework comes a new console button mapping guide. So here I am. Great to be back. Your too long didn't read for this console button mapping guide is going to be to put your turret on R1, to put your overload, that's his mini ult, on L1, or his mini old ult, his actual ultimate on triangle, and then I'm putting his weapon on D-pad left button. So with that in mind, let's get into it and go into all of his new abilities. So Torbjorn got a big ol' rework, and his rework right now is his I'll just do like this so I can talk. And his rework right now is they got rid of his standard ultimate and they made it an ability called Overload. That's going to be on L1. They made it to where his turret doesn't have to be set up anymore. You throw it out and it will build itself over a short period of time. And then they made his primary fire and his secondary fire a little bit better, a little bit more damage intensive. And what else? Oh, his new ult is he shoots lava onto the floor. And if you walk over the lava, you will get hurt significantly. So he's a great hero. Let's get into all of his abilities right now, from scratch actually. So his first ability is Rivet Gun. He shoots this little rivet that arcs like Hanzo's arrow. It's hard, it's difficult to see, but even though I'm shooting above, it drops significantly. So how about this for the robot? So there we go. So I hit the robot even though I'm way above his head, and that's because the projectile arcs over time. So there's that. It does 70 damage a shot. It has a faster fire rate, which is 1.67 shots per second, which is, I think it was just a second before. It wasn't. But anyway, next we have his rivet gun. It's called Rivet Gun Secondary, but I call it just Rivet Shotgun. It's on L2. It does, see, there's the spread. The spread is a lot tighter with the rework. It sends out 10 little rivets, or 10 little pieces of shrapnel that each do 12.5 damage, totaling 125 damage over the entire shot. There are 6 shots per clip because each one takes 3. So you can see that 15, 12, 9, 6, 3. Let's talk about his hammer, which I've put on D-pad left. This will hit for 55 damage when you hit enemies with it. If you hit your turret with it, it does 50 heals for a turret. And it does 1 1/4 swings a second. So it's better than the normal melee. That melee is 30. This one, 55. That being the case, it is currently on D-pad left because we don't use it that much anymore because the turret is now something of a set it and forget it, sort of disposable kind of a thing. Speaking of his turret, I'm putting it on R1. It will throw your turret up to a maximum of 15 feet. And before I do this, because it'll start shooting and it makes a ton of noise. Deploy turret. It self-builds to 250 HP within 3 seconds. You can throw 15 meters. It does 12 damage a shot, and this is on console. On PC, it does it a little bit. It has a little bit more damage to it. I think it does 14 damage a shot. But for console, it's lower down because I guess we can't aim. And it does 4 shots a second for 48 damage per second. If you destroy, and now the let's see here. when it comes to this turret, anybody that you attack, anybody that you attack with your primary, which is this, not your shotgun, but your primary rivet, your turret will automatically start firing at that. So it marks the target if you fire a primary rivet, just one little rivet, into a robot or into an enemy. So if your turret can see that enemy that you just shot, it will turn and start focus firing on that with you. It has some interesting cooldown bits. If your turret, so with your turret, it takes 5 seconds for it to cool down, with some exceptions. So you throw the turret out, you will have 5 seconds of cooldown with it. Actually, before I get into the cooldowns, I want to show how this works with the robots. So see how it's firing on that one on the left? If I fire, it will change. And then if I switch the targets, so you can direct where it goes. Let's see if it comes back. So I say, no, shoot this one instead. And look, it's stopped and it's shooting the other one now. Still works the same. You can heal it if you hit it with a hammer. If you want to explode it, you can see one of the icons down there on the bottom right. I can press L3 and it will explode it. That's your interact button. So your interact button will explode your turret and will also get you through a teleporter. The cooldowns for Torb's turret are as follows. You can throw out a turret every 5 seconds with caveats. So its initial cooldown is 5 seconds. The caveats are, if it just attacked something, you need to wait 3 seconds before you can throw out a new turret. If it's taken damage, you need to wait 3 seconds before you throw out a new turret. The only difference to that is that you can destroy it whenever you want for a 10-second cooldown. So, and I'll show this. So I have a 5-second cooldown. Here, it's done. And now, see how it's yellow? I can't throw out a new one, even though I'm pushing the button. And it'll turn white pretty soon. There. Now I can throw out... Oh, no, I can't throw out a new one anymore. So, trying to do that won't work. If it's being attacked, it's the same thing. So, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. There we go. And then you can throw out another one. The only exception to this rule is I can blow it up whenever I want to. For a 10-second cooldown. Okay, let's talk about overload now. Enough turrets. Overload, you press L1, you gain 150 armor, and you gain 30% movement and fire speed, shooting speed for 5 seconds, and it's on a 12-second cooldown. So, got all that armor there, shooting real quick, very good, and then it goes away. And then it goes on cooldown afterward. So 12-second cooldown afterward. The cooldown doesn't start until it's done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. And then it's done. And it's done. That's overload. Pretty handy. Mini ultimate there. And then that's on your L1, right? So the turret acts more like a projectile. So we just throw it. So it's like a projectile, so we throw it. That's why it's on the right side. And then for his overload, we put that on the left side because that's sort of like a support. His molten core, which is triangle, is pretty cool. You shoot lava out, and let's try it out right now. So you have not too many seconds to do it. Let's see. Notice how they walk through it, and then the lava stays there for 10 seconds. It's pretty cool, yeah. So you spew 10 globules of lava onto the ground. If you hit a wall, it will sort of bounce off the wall and then land on the ground. It will settle on the ground. It will do 130 damage per second to anybody that's walking over it, or if you have armor, it will do 190 damage to your armor until your armor is gone. Your shooting time lasts for 6 seconds, so you have 6 seconds to fire everything off, and then the lava lasts for 10 seconds. So that is it with regards to Torbjorn and his new console button mapping guide, his rework there. I really like him. I played him a bunch in Junkenstein. The turret is incredible. You can get it into all kinds of crazy places, and you don't have to worry about it too much because it's on a 5-second cooldown. And I believe if somebody destroys it, it doesn't affect your cooldown at all, so you can just pop another one if it gets destroyed. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully this helps out. If there's any issues with what I've said, please let me know, and I will make amendments as necessary. So thank you very much, and have fun out there.